About a year ago, Jason Cockrell was in this cemetery to exhume his great-grandmother's body. According to records, she was buried here in the 1950s, but when they dug up her grave, she was nowhere to be found.
They have no idea where to even look for my great-grandmother.
Jason Cockrell felt like he was living a nightmare at St. Stephen's Cemetery last year. He was on the property to exhume the remains of his grandmother and great-grandmother to move them closer to family.
They lifted my grandmother out, vault and all, put her on the back of a flatbed, and then started to dig for my great-grandmother, and they didn't find anything.
The plot completely empty, except for a single bone. According to her death certificate and cemetery records, Edna Butler Erdman was buried at St. Stephen's Cemetery in 1951. An archaeologist on site examined the bone found, and it wasn't hers.
And he said, no, he said, you have a pre-1900s child's bone here.
Cockrell says at that point, the caretaker panicked, ordering her staff to dig up surrounding graves. A man's skeleton was found in one.
Put the top of the vault on, covered him back up, and never notified family or anybody that they dug him up. So then they dig to the north side, the next grave.
But it was empty. A man was supposed to be inside. After the incident, Cockrell learned his step-great-grandfather was buried in St. Stephen's too. He says the cemetery has no record of it. Cockrell filed a report with LMPD and a complaint with the Attorney General's office. They claim to still be investigating. Now the cemetery has a lawsuit on their hands from angry families with similar complaints. But at this point, Cockrell doesn't think that'll be enough.
I really don't see anything getting straightened out until they start digging up bodies and finding out who's where in that cemetery.
Cockrell says he's unsure if he will join that lawsuit against the cemetery in the future. His hope is that the state will step in. And now the cemetery did not respond to our request for comment. Reporting live from St. Stephen's Cemetery, Jobina, Fortson, Wave 3 News.